Hey guys, Dave from Wolfhard Hobbying here, and today we're going to take a look at painting the Avatar model from Forgeworld. I really love this model. It looks phenomenal, especially for a main centerpiece for an army like it will be for mine. He's kind of damaged. I had previously built him, and I suggest not doing that. If you're going to paint this guy up. I kind of realized that afterwards, and it's just easier if the head's not on the arms and all that. So, but when working with Forgeworld resin, you do want to give this guy a bath. And what I mean by that is that you'll want to soak him in some mildly warm water with some dish detergent. I use Palmolive because it's in my house. And the reason you'll want to do that is that Forgeworld is very liberal with their releasing agents. So you get a lot of like a kind of dust, or this one seems a little oily to me. But there is a lot of release agents, and all resin models, even fine cast, you should be washing that release agent off. As well as you could do it with plastic minis, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. But Forgeworld, definitely you want to wash it. I tend to let it soak for about 5 to 10 minutes. You could just wash it right away, but that's up to you. You don't want the water to be too warm, as these thin parts here could warp if the water is too warm, so it could bend. And but if you do get a bent piece, warm water, let it soak for a bit, and then you can just bend it back into place, and when it cools, it'll be nice and solid. You could use hair dryers to fix that as well, but you would probably get a lot more warping along the blade, even on a low setting. For bigger pieces, you could use a heat gun, but you have to be very careful and make sure it has a low setting, or else you can warp or even melt a lot of the resin. But I would use a heat gun for bigger parts, like if his leg was for some reason warped or anything like that. But for thin pieces, I just use warm water to fix anything like that. Now, going back to washing the model down, again, just let it soak for about 5 to 10 minutes, just to make sure like water and the soap gets into all those cracks and crevices here. And then after that, you can just kind of scrub it away. You can use a toothbrush, as long as it's got soft bristles, or I like to use just one of these larger paintbrushes. It's just softer. It allows the bristles to get into all the cracks and crevices on this guy here, so you can work the soap in there really, really well. And then after that, you just give it a nice little rinse, and with the same brush, make sure you get all the soap out of there. And then I usually just let it air dry for about an hour or two. Usually I just have something else I'm painting, so I get back to it after. So I'm going to throw this guy and all the pieces into my soap, wash them up, let them dry, and get them primed. So here we go. As you can see, the model has been primed black. Now, when you are priming a model, just kind of show you here, you can still see some of that resin showing through. That's not a problem, as the black is just a pigment that's put into the actual chemical of the primer. So you don't really need to make sure that you get a good color coverage on the model. That will be sufficient, and it will hold the paint as well. So we're going to be covering all that up in our airbrushing, so you don't need to worry about that at all, as well as we are going to be going over other colors. So we're going to get started on just his body. I'm going with a different theme than the usual lava or molten look that most people use for the avatar. I'm going with a blue, kind of like a soul glow, I guess. So to get us started, we're going to come in with Vallejo's medium blue. We're going to load that up in the airbrush and basically spray the entire model because I want this blue to get in all the cracks in between the armor and all that, as this is going to be kind of the base color for the glow effect. And then we'll worry about painting over the like muscles or the rock, whatever it is, after, and we're going to come in with a black and do that, and then we're going to get the rest of the model. But in this video we're just going to do the base color of the blue for the main part, and I want everything's going to be coming from the chest because that's where I want the power source to go, to kind of look like it's coming from that area. So with my Badger Patriot 105, just going to go in fairly close so it is very thinned out, so that I can make sure a lot of the paint gets into those cracks. And I'm about a 20 psi. Usually for base coating I like to be higher, but because I want to work in closer and really make sure a lot of paint gets into those cracks, I want a thinned out paint at a lower psi so that I just don't have it spraying everywhere. So just working along here, pretty straightforward, just going to do a base coat. It's hard to see here, especially with a lot of the blue being on those muscles or the rock pieces, whatever they happen to be. So it's hard to see that the blue is inside those cracks. Once we start doing more of the glow effect and painting over the blue parts, that will pop out a little bit more. You could also do this with a brush with very thin paint. In hindsight, it might actually be quicker to do it that way, because then you could use a small tipped brush and get in there and really work the paint in there a lot better. But I'm already started this way, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the whole model essentially base coated, and so I'm just going to skip ahead here. So as you can see here, he's all painted. Again, it is hard to see that the blue is in the cracks because it is a dark blue, and the muscle shapes and all that are blue as well. So with it being a dark blue, that's kind of what I want. So with my brighter blues, I'm going to start at the center, work my way down, and work on the face as well. But that's it for this video, guys. If you have any more questions about working with Forgeworld, please send me a message or leave a comment. Subscribe to the video to see the next part. In the video description below will be links to my Facebook and Patreon accounts, so you can shoot me a message on Facebook or become a Patreon member and show some support that way. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you again for watching the video, and have yourselves a great day.